Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me to this occasion. And today's I'll be sharing on my activity, especially on Digital Forensic Research Society. So I try to confine myself to speak on DFRS, but most probably in between I'll try to cover my position or portfolio as the Senior Vice President of Cybersecurity Responsive Services, whereby MISA, Digital Forensics and Cyber Threat Intelligence Department, they are all under me. But as I said earlier, today I try to share with the audience the activities of Digital Forensics Research Society in terms of its the establishment of the FRS. I call it in short the FRS. How does it support cybersecurity Malaysia, especially on the technical side, and also some of the activities on the policy side. So we know that every Asia establishment, they have their vision and mission. The vision and mission of the FRS is purely to look into the technicalities, because in the domain of cybersecurity, the gist of it, the core of it is the technicality. Because as we can see, the civilizations of human being is brought forth to the digital realm or digital paradigm. So by being digital society, we need some kind of advanced technologies to be produced so that the practitioner will be able to use the technology in their daily work activities. So it's a call for the researchers, it's a call for the developers to be able to lend their assistance in terms of developing things, developing the tools, the processes, the framework, and to be able to to be as a trainer, so that the researcher will be able to understand the gaps. So as a takeaway in today's summit or conference, I would like to give some keywords. Yeah. So the establishment of DFRS is basically to congregate the researchers, the software engineers, so that they will be able to understand what is the predicament of the cyber frontliners. Because as the SVP of cybersecurity responsive services, is the practitioners, for example, like incident handlers and also forensics analysts, they are on site at the crime scenes. Whatever happens on site, they are being called to lend their assistance to the law enforcement agencies in Malaysia. So in the civilization of a human being, we are moving forward in terms of digital transformation, the government through the ministry, because in a way, the FRS through CSM, we are reporting to the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia. So there's a lot of application is being made, especially when we talk about smart city in Selangor, smart city in other states, for example, like in Johor. So these are some of the application in digital civilization. We are being run through since the first industrial revolution until up to the industrial revolution of 4, whereby there's always two sides of a coin. To me, there's always a risk. Of course, it is good that we are into digital transformation, digital society. But the adversary, the cyber criminals is taking advantage, and the level of sophistication in terms of defense is getting more challenging in the future, and also in terms of attacking, because the adversary is more or less based on our experience as a practitioners, at Cybersecurity Malaysia, we can see that they are at least 1 or 2 steps ahead. When there's any vulnerabilities, they will always take the opportunity, to make some kind of automation through malicious software. So they intrude into the system, for example, like, as being made known to a lot of people through awareness created by Cybersecurity Malaysia. Just by a click of a mouse, you are being infected. So through the tactics, techniques, and procedures of the cyber criminals, there's always human intervention or humanware. So as you can see through this diagram, the level of sophistication in terms of the attacks is getting more sophisticated by the day. So at Digital Forensic Research Society, we are doing a lot of research in terms of car hacking, IoTs, and and whatnot. So we are trying to bring cyber threat intelligence to the next level. And at the same time, just I would like to share with the audience today that we are being consulted not only at the national level, but also at international level, especially from the Middle East. So these are some of the activities to support Cybersecurity Malaysia, because they are so busy in terms of daily operation as a practitioner. So we as a researcher and developers are trying to lend our hand through this Digital Forensic Research Society platform, so that at the end of the day, advanced energy would be given to them in order for them to conduct their daily activities. And some of the projects that we have done at the national level, I will be able to share with the audience today. Some of it is quite confidential, because we are trying to push forward to the next realm, to the next paradigm in terms of responsive. We have the conventional way of doing response, for example, like cyber threat intelligence, and the next one is incident handling, so that the system would be at its operational state, and at the end of the day is a forensics analysis to find the root cause, so that from the root cause the act and other things would be tested at the organization level or at the national level, so that some of the reports that is being published can create some kind of awareness in the future. So this is some statistics that I will share with the audience in terms of the incidences reported to our Cyber 999 through MyCert. It's more on community service, but at the end of the day, we are seeing in terms of the cyber threat landscape is evolving. It's not purely in terms of frauds and other things. We are seeing in terms of corporate espionage, ransomware. It's just like the sphere of cybercrime is moving towards most probably in terms of cyber terrorism, or even information warfare. So that's why in terms of policy coordination, in terms of new ways of doing things, is in terms of responsive. It's not only in terms of reacting, but also some kind of preemptive activities. So this is the last slide in terms of my presentation, to share with the audience what we have experienced at Cybersecurity Malaysia as a practitioner, as a cyber threat intelligence analyst. How do we escalate some kind of information to the stakeholders, especially to the ministry, so that the ministry will be able to coordinate some kind of activities in order to defend, to attend to the incidences. As we can see that Malaysia is not being spared in terms of advanced persistence threat. So we have some cases involving APT40, APT 41, APT 29. So all those sophistication, in terms of cyber attacks, Malaysia's cyber threat landscape, we are experiencing those kind of attacks. So how do we move forwards? By acknowledging that this is the threats. These are the level of the sophistication due to the digital transformation. Because as part of the it's a two side of a coin. We can see it, the pandemic COVID-19 as the negative, but it also push Malaysia, the nation, to be steadfast in terms of the adoption of digital, transformation in terms of the economic activity, in terms of the societal well-being and whatnot. So we at DFRS, we also adopt the military doctrine. For example, like how do you actually defend? So the first cut of the military doctrine, the first thing is defense, and later most probably to exploit, and also at the end of the day is to attack. So at Cybersecurity Malaysia, as a Malaysian cert, and also digital forensics, services, since we are rendering our technical expertise to the law enforcement agencies. So the doctrine at my division is more on cyber defense strategy. So we look at the people, yeah. The people is very important to be the fit among the fittest, yeah. Because we know that our adversary, the criminals, is always one step ahead or two steps ahead. When you do a lot of analysis, especially in big data and also AI, you extract the features, the technicality features of this malware through malware forensics, and you can see that the level of sophistication is going to increase in the future. So it's a cat and mouse game. So at Cybersecurity Malaysia, we have a very good, training scheme. We call it Global X scheme. And as a researcher, and also developer, we are lending our support to the practitioner, and also through this, training. Because in my digital blueprint, Global A scheme is being recognized, as the training provider, and we have done so much, focusing in terms of upgrading the skill set of the people. So I call it, or I put it as an acronym, especially at the FRS and also CSM, so that my staff and other researcher will be able to understand we need to be cyber fit. So the focus on the people, process, and technology. And earlier I mentioned about researcher, engineers, and also practitioners. Yeah. So the practitioners has to be good in terms of their skill set, and vice versa for the researcher and engineers. And Cyber Act is very important. All your technical skill sets in terms of attending to instances must be guided by the standard operating procedures and other laws or regulatory requirements. You cannot attend to certain instances as as you wish, just like the adversary, but the defense, the philosophical of defense, it needs to be conducted in a safe manner. That's why some of the engagement with the universities, the FRS, we have a lot of engagement with the universities. We change some of the programs, for example, like Catch the Flag or cyber hacking. We reward it, we put it into a new team, so that the youngsters, the energetic youngsters who would like to hone into their skill sets, we put a team as a cyber heroes, through a program or activity with the University of Kebangsaan of Malaysia, which is UKM. So this is about the processes. And of course, at CSM, as a practice, data collection, data attribution is more towards, the Russians. But at this point of juncture is more on cyber defense, strategy. Yeah, what we are carrying in terms of operations, and also as a practitioner, is more towards cyber defense. Yeah, it is based on the mandate given to cybersecurity measure as the reference or technical specialist center. Yeah, so we do not have any kind of authority. We lend our forensics, threat intelligence, forensics investigation to the all law enforcement agencies, almost all. Yeah, I can't name it. If there's any other law enforcement agencies whereby we do not render or lend our technical assistance. So at the end of the day, so my focus of presentation today is to provide cyber threat intelligence report. So we have done that. We have our own template and whatnot. Of course, I would not be able to share with the audience because it is a PNC. So we put forth, indicators of compromise in terms of IP reputation, in terms of URL, bad domain names, and all those information, so that the stakeholder will be able to use it to defend or to put some kind of controls within their infrastructure. So we have done that. We have put forth some report at the cabinet level through the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia. That is whatever that is being given to us in terms of KPI, key performance indicator. We have done that. We have done that. We have delivered that accordingly. There's no question about that. So at the same time, without proper regulation in terms of our ISAC, but at CSM level, we have done our best level through the budget given to us, through the KPIs given to us. We have provided advisories, and for example, like HAFNIM. So we have provided that kind of information earlier, so that whoever refer back to mindset advisory, they will be able to to do some kind of intervention to put controls into their system, and if there is a need, they can report to Cyber 999. And when there's any APTs infection within the infrastructure of the victim, they always engage back with Cybersecurity Malaysia, and we put our own products through the FRS. We develop our own products, network sensors, endpoint sensors, the compromised infrastructure by putting SDR, EDR, and also network sensors, and we'll be able to conduct some kind of forensic investigation and produce a report, so that the victims will be able to bring it to the board level, to the management level, so that they can justify that this is something that to be part of the business. Business is not by not including IT security, is going to be an issue in the future, because our civilization, digital adoption and whatnot, digital transformation, the IT budget, the IT security budget has to be part of the business budget. So sometimes we go to the level of by lending our assistance to justify at board levels or even at management level. And these are some of the photos I would like to share. If there is a need, we can take down some of the CNC malicious server, so that we'll be able to bring the system back to its operational condition. So I would cover again, in terms of some kind of development at Digital Forensic Research Society. We do a lot of research in terms of AI, big data. So we call our system Cyber I3, based on the practitioner requirements in terms of intelligence, incidents, and also investigation. So it's DevSec kinds of DevSecOps kind of thing with chosen technology stack. So far, based on the accuracy, based on the research paper that we have done, I think it is good, in terms of proof of concept, and hopefully this would bring the new paradigm in terms of responsive. Of course, the conventional way of doing response or responsive activities is still valid, in terms of defense and whatnot. So we are trying to push forward in order how do we combat, the attackers or cyber attacks in the future, because we have so many categories. It can be in terms of cyber terrorism, it can be in terms of cyber warfare. So how do we prepare ourselves? So at DFRS is always focusing on the in terms of technicalities, to understand the infrastructure of the adversaries, to understand the agents of the adversaries. So we have done a lot of work in terms of big data and also CTI in terms of AI. The common way of doing CTI is just a report by producing an indicator of compromise, some kind of background, so that the recipient will be able to safeguard their infrastructure. But what about CTI in terms of AI in the future, as we can do a lot of data mining? So based on that, we can see more context, more visibility, and how do we preemptively react to this kind of information. So we have done a lot of work in terms of media analytics, because the conflict is can be seen from there, from the SOCMED, open source intelligence. So whenever there's a political or economic crisis, or even healthcare crisis, so the spillover will always be into the fifth domain, which is the cyber. So apart from CTI, AI, media analytics, we have gone into biometrics, to identify individuals. So these are some of the projects that I would like to share with the audience today. And this is my last slide. So how do we bring the responsive realm kind of doing things, from the traditional or conventional way into a more proactive, manner in the future? Is it by doing a lot of analysis in terms of cyber threat intelligence? So we have to move on, from cyber defense strategy. It's always valid, it's always there, but at the same time, some quarters or some kind of activities, to complement cyber defense strategies, we have to be doing, cyber threat intelligence or intelligence strategy, the art of intelligence. How do we, as a small country, to fight against the adversary? Because if you see at the other side of the situations, the cyber criminals can be combating against our country. Does it take 1 million cyber troopers or cyber commandos to be able to withstand the attacks from the cyber criminals in the future? So how do we combat? So cyber I3 system hopefully can be the neutralizer. Is in the midst of research and in the midst of POC. We have a simulated environment, just like the real infrastructure. So in terms of tactics, techniques and procedures, we have done a lot of analysis in terms of APTs. We have APT1 right through APT40s, so we can see some kind of trends based on the modus operandi. The objective can be different. Some can be targeting financial gains. Some can be targeting in terms of corporate espionage or even government espionage. So we are more focusing on the TTP. So based on the TTP of APT1, we have done some kind of machine learning analysis and also deep learning analysis. What can we provide, in terms of the context to the stakeholder at the end of the day? For example, like by doing some kind of engagement with the Ministry of Defense, how do we put forth this is coming forth? We are opening the floodgate by by having digital civilization. This is a must, but again, there's always a risk to that. So how do we manage the risk? How do we mitigate the risk? So this is the responsibility of Digital Forensic Research Society. We bring forward, we congregate, we assemble, researcher and a very good developer, so that with this kind of, hopefully, inshallah, in the future, advanced tool, there would be a good assistance to the practitioner in for them in carrying their daily job in defending the country against the adversary. So as a conclusion, hopefully by having some kind of ways of doing things, we can see that the severity of infection can be brought down. And if it's being referred to cybersecurity measure, because we are waiting, we are lending our assistance. Yeah, it is based on the law enforcement agencies to rope us in together. For example, like we work very closely with CCID, with the police and other divisions within PDRM. We are part of the task force, and other computer related, for example, like fraud, or together with SPRM, we lend our assistance. So at the end of the day, I would like to share with the audience today. We focus a lot in terms of technicalities, because the gist of cybersecurity is technicals. Yeah. So how do you bring technicals to the next level? And of course, in terms of regulatory empowerment, coordination, and preemptive strike and whatnot, to be guided by the legality, so that this is legit. I leave it to the stakeholder, because they need to be deciding what is the way forward for cybersecurity. Most probably to have Cybersecurity Act. We already have My Digital Blueprint. We already have Malaysian Cybersecurity Strategy. But what's next? Is it enough? Yeah. As far as the FRS is concerned, and also CSM, we focus, in terms of the technicalities, and of course, at the same time, we are being roped into discussing about SOPs in terms of law. And recently, I would like to share with the audience, I've been roped in to look into PDPA. What can we expand in terms of PDPA Act, because data breaches is happening a lot. For example, like universities, they can just craft some kind of packet or attacks, to be able to compromise the database, and from the database there's a lot of PII information about your IC number, where your wife is working, address, and so on and so forth. So with that, I end my presentation. I pass back to Miss Moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr.